You always felt something different, but couldn't quite explain it. Since you were young, there was a subtle restlessness in you, a sense that something or someone was missing, even when everything seemed in place. It was as if your soul remembered an ancient promise made before time, beyond words. Many around you called it longing, others said it was just fantasy. But deep down, you knew there was something more. God plants invisible seeds in our hearts, memories that don't belong to this life. They're like echoes of ancient encounters, lives intertwined through eternity. A soulmate isn't just someone we love, it's an extension of who we are. It's the other half of the mirror that reveals the divine within us. But why is this encounter so mysterious? Why do so many go through life without recognizing it? The truth is, the journey to your soulmate is, in reality, a journey to yourself. God doesn't just unite two people, He prepares them. He shapes, transforms, purifies. And true love can only blossom in fertile soil, a heart that has learned to listen and trust. This is the great mystery. You don't find your soulmate in apps, at parties, or in frantic searches. You find them when you stop looking outward and start hearing the call within. When your spirit begins to align with the plan the Creator designed for you. You notice it in small signs. A dream of an unfamiliar face, a conversation that stirs something ancient, a connection that defies logic. These are clues left by God, lighting a path of gradual revelation. Perhaps you've already crossed paths with this soul in other lives. Maybe they're near now, disguised as a friend, or even hidden in a necessary absence. God's timing isn't our timing. And a soulmate doesn't arrive to fill a void. They come to overflow a love that's already begun in you. As we dive deeper, comment, "I believe in divine love," if this resonates with you. Inexplicable moments happen. You dream of someone you've never seen, feel an instant connection with strangers, or hear a song and cry without knowing why. These are God's first whispers, small signs planted along the way so your soul remembers, even if your mind doesn't understand. The spiritual universe works through synchronicities. Nothing is by chance. As you begin to awaken spiritually, certain patterns become visible. You meet people who feel too familiar, despite never having met before. You get chills in seemingly ordinary encounters. You hear your name in the silence. These moments are like invisible threads pulling you towards something greater. In many spiritual traditions, it's believed that soulmates recognize each other through the eyes. There's something beyond attraction. It's as if time stops and a deep peace takes over. Even if you don't know each other, there's a comfort that defies logic. This is more than emotion. It's spiritual memory. Another common sign is a feeling of incompleteness, even in seemingly good relationships. You may love someone, respect them, care for them, but still sense something essential is missing. This isn't selfishness, it's your soul whispering that a deeper connection awaits. Sometimes this feeling intensifies after a painful breakup, as if the end of a cycle was needed to make room for the true reunion. Some people report that before meeting their soulmate, they went through great transformations, illnesses, losses, radical changes. This is because God often deconstructs old versions of ourselves before allowing a reunion with something so sacred. The soul must be ready to recognize the other, and that's only possible when we let go of what we no longer are. You may start noticing certain numbers repeating: 1111, 222, 555. These are universal codes used for millennia by spiritual guides to signal you're on the right path. When this happens often, it's a call to pay attention. Notice what's around you, what you feel, who enters your life at that moment. Sometimes the sign is silence, a sudden absence, an unexplained distance. A soulmate may appear, touch your life briefly, and vanish, because it's not yet the right time. This isn't loss, it's preparation. True love doesn't fade, it matures in the distance until it's ready to bloom. But this is just the beginning. You're being guided gently with love and precision. Every synchronicity, every intuition, every sign is proof you're not alone. A divine force is conspiring for this reunion to happen at the right time. And when it does, you'll know. The revelation of a soulmate isn't sudden. It's a process, a path built with small discoveries, deep healings, and inner transformations. God doesn't just reveal your soulmate. He transforms you to be ready to recognize and receive them. It all starts with self-awareness. You begin to see your repetitive patterns, your needs disguised as love, your idealizations, and you realize the true encounter can't happen while you're trapped in old models. A soulmate doesn't come to complete a persona. They arrive when you start living as your true essence. In this phase, you may feel loneliness, doubts, even anger, because the universe starts removing everything that hinders your growth. Relationships that no longer serve you end. Limiting beliefs surface. Old wounds resurface. Not to punish you, but to heal you. A soulmate's presence requires space, within and outside you. You'll notice heightened spiritual sensitivity, vivid dreams, premonitions, a desire to change your life, your city, your purpose, as if something is stirring in your heart saying, "It's coming." This movement isn't an illusion, it's divine preparation. Often your soulmate is going through the same process, in sync with you, even without knowing. The signs intensify. You may start seeing symbols of union, balance, mirrors, or even repeated initials. You hear stories of impossible reunions. You sense something sacred is approaching. These aren't coincidences. They're celestial reminders that the revelation is near. And then a meeting happens. It may not seem grand at first. Sometimes it's an online conversation, a chance encounter, a glance in a cafe. But there's something in the air, an energy that changes everything. You may not understand each other right away, may even drift apart, but something has been activated. Soul recognizes soul. At this point, many try to force the outcome. They want answers, guarantees, control. But divine love doesn't rush. It flows like a sacred river, needing the right time to touch each shore. The progression isn't linear. There are twists, pauses, tests. All of this is part of it. You also feel a greater calling, a desire to serve, to grow spiritually, to help others. This happens because true soulmate love isn't self-contained. It expands. It heals the world around it. As you draw closer to your soulmate, your energy rises, you shine brighter, and the universe responds. Then a new truth emerges. A soulmate isn't a final destination, but a mirror showing who you truly are. And this mirror appears when you finally have the courage to look at yourself with truth and compassion. The hidden truth now reveals itself. You've gone through processes, signs, tests, and cleansings, and when you least expect it, not when you want, but when you're ready, the universe reveals what was always written. Your soulmate. They may appear quietly, as if they'd always been there. They might show up in an unexpected moment, during an ordinary walk, in a new setting, or even when you thought love was no longer for you. But something in you recognizes it's them. Recognizing a soulmate isn't based on overwhelming passion or an idealized romantic story. It's quiet, deep, undeniable. It's a reunion. And in this reunion, there's no effort. There's rest. There's peace. There's a certainty you've never felt with anyone else. Your eyes meet, and in that instant, everything falls silent. Time slows. You don't just see a face. You see an entire story. You see fragments of past lives, soul pacts, ancient promises made in God's light. The emotion hits hard. But it's not desperation, it's reverence. It's common for the mind to try sabotaging this moment. Is this real? Am I projecting? But the soul has no doubts, and when God reveals, he also strengthens. The universe begins to conspire in your favor. paths open, coincidences multiply, answers come before questions. The most incredible part is that this revelation doesn't just transform your relationship, it transforms you. You start seeing the world differently. You become more compassionate, more present, more connected to spirituality. It's as if your soulmate's presence reignites your soul's mission, your highest purpose. You begin to understand that this love isn't just yours. It was planted by God with a purpose to raise your consciousness and, through that, elevate collective consciousness. The union of soulmates isn't just for mutual happiness, it's a portal for healing those around you. But reunion doesn't always mean immediate union. Sometimes recognition happens before the possibility of living the love, because both still have paths to walk, healings to complete. And that's okay. A soulmate doesn't vanish. They step back when needed, but remain connected, and the reunion always returns, more mature, more whole. As we dive deeper, we understand God doesn't give you a soulmate to solve your problems, but to reveal your purest essence. They challenge you, mirror you, help you grow, and by their side, what was once doubt becomes faith. This is the climax, when the soul stops searching and starts trusting, when love ceases to be desire and becomes purpose, when the other stops being someone outside you and becomes the continuation of what God planted within you. You found, you felt, you recognized. But the journey doesn't end with revelation. On the contrary, it deepens. God shows you your soulmate, but also the path you'll need to walk together. And that path isn't always immediate or easy. Preparation is one of the most important phases. It's where love solidifies, where ego dissolves, where human expectations give way to divine trust. You start understanding that loving a soulmate is, above all, loving with surrender, truth, and purpose. Here, tests arise, doubts, old fears resurface. You may question, am I enough for this love? What if it's just another illusion? But this isn't weakness. It's purification. God is showing you the parts of you that still need light. Often a temporary separation happens. The soulmate drifts away, sometimes by geography, choices, or life circumstances, and it hurts. But this pain is the fire that refines. You learn true love doesn't demand constant presence. It demands inner presence. This is when many give up. They mistake waiting for rejection, silence for abandonment. But those who trust God know, nothing is still. Even in the unseen, something is aligning. Divine love is meticulous. It unites in maturity and separates in haste. You feel the call to evolve, to care for your body, mind, and faith, to develop dormant gifts, to seek your soul's purpose. Because soulmate love isn't static. It demands expansion. You prepare for love by living your mission. And this preparation isn't solitary. Your spiritual guides, ancestors, your higher soul are by your side, guiding, whispering, leading. You sense this in dreams, sudden intuitions, the peace that comes when you let go of control. God is also preparing the other. Even if you're not together now, the process happens on both sides. Your soulmate feels something, even without understanding. They go through the same callings, and the love uniting you strengthens with each healing done apart. The beauty of this phase is realizing the true meaning of love. It's not possession, not neediness. It's freedom with depth. It's trusting the unseen. It's knowing that if it's true soul love, it will return, and return better. Then a new truth emerges. You don't need to chase, or force, or beg. You just need to trust, follow your heart's path, and keep your vibration high. The reunion is guaranteed by God, but preparation is your responsibility. When you find your soulmate, everything makes sense. Past pains don't vanish, but they fit together. The silences, absences, waits, all gain purpose. You understand every tear, every lonely prayer, every uncertain night was a step to this moment. God didn't delay. He prepared. The new reality isn't made of empty promises or idealized dreams. It's made of presence, of truth, of a love as light as it is deep, as serene as it is transformative. A soulmate doesn't come to fill. They come to overflow what you've already built with God. You look at each other and know, no more anxiety, desperation, or doubt. There's peace, a peace that doesn't depend on words, plans, or approvals, a peace that exists only where there's purpose. In this new time, you walk together, not as halves completing each other, but as wholes adding to one another. The relationship isn't based on control, but freedom. Not dependence, but trust. Not demands, but spiritual collaboration. You realize this love isn't just between you. It expands, it radiates, it heals. Where you are, people feel better. Words carry more weight. Actions touch lives. This happens because a soulmate reunion is also a call to service. Together, you light up the world around you. There's beauty in the small things, shared silence, spontaneous gestures, mutual respect, joint growth. You don't try to change each other. You support each other's natural changes. You grow in a spiral, in sync, like two trees with intertwined roots. Spirituality deepens. Connection with God strengthens. You pray together, dream together, manifest together. Each day becomes an altar, each embrace a healing, each challenge an invitation to evolve. This new reality isn't perfect, but it's true. And that's enough, because now you know, soulmate love isn't about perfection, it's about divine presence. You become grateful even for the times you saw nothing, because you understand even God's silence was love, was care, was protection. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sign up for the next revelation. And never forget, if your soul is ready, the entire universe moves to bring you the love already written in the stars.